I just can't sit still. I can't sit in the house. I got to be active. I got to be doing stuff. And that's just, whatever I see, I just think, oh, I can help there. And I will do my damnedest, and that's how it is.
Welcome to Tidy People, a series that looks at everyday people who make a difference every day out in our communities.
I live in Tonrefail. I have done all my life. I was born up in Capel Estate, went to school in Trevorrig. I spent a little bit of time away in my late teens and early 20s. And I come back to Tonrefail then, well, about 25 years ago. And in that time, I've really wanted to try and make a difference in the community. Tonrefail has always been close to my heart in everything I've ever done. I've always spoke fondly about my upbringing. And I can see that we're starting to get a little bit, over the last sort of 5 years especially, starting to look a little bit more dilapidated. A lot of the buildings that were thriving when I was younger had gone. And Walby shoe shop, you know, we had Four Seasons Sports, you know, we had Village Girl, we had shops that were throughout the whole of the valleys. Unfortunately, with all the new larger retail outlets popping up here, there and everywhere, kind of local community started to diminish and fall on its backside a bit. So like Tonrefail, my Tonrefail growing up, you know, we had aunties and uncles that weren't really our aunties and uncles. We had Mr. and Mrs. You know, you could knock on their door and they would help you in any way. Doors would be open, you could just walk in. It was a real strong community feel. And I know times have changed, and I know people's perceptions are a little bit different. But, you know, I mean, there's nothing to say that we can't bring that community feel back to how it used to be. And I don't mean by leaving our doors open, but I mean about the fact of being able to speak to people. I mean, good mornings, good afternoons. But, you know, when you think of Tom back in the days, you know, the businesses were thriving. You know, at one point there was 3 butchers, you know, and there was a fish shop. Not just a fish and chip shop, an actual fish shop, you know, which is really bizarre when you think of it, because, I mean, who would think the communities could sustain that kind of shop as it was? But during the time, and I hate to say it, but I'm going to say the bypass killed Ton when it was opened in 1986, you know, because all the thoroughfare that used to come down from the valleys down, so come through Trebanog, down through Ton, and on their way to Talbot, when the bypass was built, everything was just taken away. So all the fact that the boys or the girls on their way to work stopping to pick bits and pieces up from the shops or calling in on their way home, that was taken away. So the High Street side of that really did take a bit of a battering. So, you know, I give a long thought about this for a little bit of period of time. I've got a background in running local businesses myself. So I was running the Horseshoe at the time, and I was just thinking Tonrefail needs something. The Chamber of Trade, unfortunately, had fallen by the wayside. And just out of chance, a letter come through the door of the pub, and the school were looking to try and look at ways of developing the Chamber too. So I thought, oh, this is interesting. My thoughts, this as well, it's got to mean something. So I'll do a little bit of work into this and see where it can go. And then from that meeting, I met Alison and Nicola from Tonrefail Community School. We sat down, we booked the rugby club. On the whim of open, we'd get local businesses to come and visit and to see what potentially we could do to Tonrefail. We invited Adrian down from Treorchy and told us how wonderful Treorchy is. So we thought, if Treorchy can be wonderful, why can't Ton? So this is where Ton developed from, really, to be fair. From that meeting, we had about 40 people there initially, and as a Chamber of Trade, we've just gone from strength to strength. We've started now helping make an impact in the community. We're putting up the flower baskets at the minute. They all went up today, funny enough. And we've done the flags. We've done a lot to try and bring a bit of colour to where we are. But also, we've tried to show the people and the businesses that there's a value being involved in something. So we've currently got about 57 members of the Chamber of Trade, you know, and they come from all walks of life. They're not necessarily a static business. Some of them are craft stall holders. We've even got a face painter, to be fair, you know, but there's a value in what we're trying to do, and they see the value. You know, it costs £50 a year to become a member, or £5 per month, because we want to make it affordable. But from the back end of that, we get so much more back. as kind of part and parcel of our journey, we started the Tonbridge Lottery. Tonbridge Lottery have just been massive. I can't even get emotional thinking about it. The fact of being able to give out £60,000 in winnings to the community is massive, and and it's more than that as well with the other draws. And it's not just the fact of giving out the winnings. So from every ticket that we sell, 50p goes to the community fund and 50% goes to the prize pot. So we've been able to kind of create our own ton cash, so to speak. So we can do things in ton. We put CCTV up. We've donated money to organisations. We donated money to the skate park because they were a little bit short to get that up and running. So as a chamber, we're doing loads and loads and loads and loads. I'm also involved in a few other things in the community too. I'm secretary of the Friends of St John's, which is the old cemetery, I want to say, on Llantrisant Road. The community was able to buy that back for £1. We're looking at ways of turning that into a village green, kind of small version of St Fagans kind of heritage centre. It's the early stages yet, but it's definitely got legs on it. And I genuinely think that with the people involved, they will push it through. I'm involved with Coedidi Community Centre. I'm treasurer down there. Secretary of Tonyrefail Welfare. I coach the women's football team. I'm a director of Shopfax Zero up in Ferndale, because when they come on board and they started, they asked me if I'd help them, just be part of the direction. I'm not as active as I would like to be, but I'm still there if they ever need me to be at meetings, etc. Because you can spread yourself too thin as well. In the process at the moment we've started a veterans breakfast here, first Saturday of every month, and in that time we're looking to reinstate Tonrefail branch of the Royal British Legion. That's kind of just fallen by the wayside a bit, but there's more people. We started on the first meeting, we had 4 people, and we're up to 10 in our last one, and there's a real good feeling that we could, reinvigorate the British Legion back into Ton. I think giving people the opportunity to come out their houses, shop local, means the fact that they can still meet and greet and talk to people. I go to the co-op and it takes me an hour from the time I leave my house to go back, because the amount of people I bump into and have a conversation with, and it does offer that just to shop locally. I do feel also that with the likes of the skate park and with the potential of the youth cafe here, providing safe spaces for the the youth and the younger generations is massive, because you're giving them an opportunity to socialise there. At the minute, it's quite evident that children and adults, I suppose, quite happy to stay at home and play on the electronic devices, and and socialisation is gone. I think giving people the opportunity to mingle is nothing but a positive experience for anyone. If Ton was to become vibrant and people were out intermingling and socialising, it's great in the summer months when you see the kids in the park with the families, just with a blanket with a little bit of food and they're kicking the ball around, I think that's absolutely massive and big steps in lots of ways. I do try hard, and there's lots of people in the community who do try hard to try and make Tonrefail better. There's a lot of people who do things that are unnoticed, and there's a lot of people who are more upfront. But I think, when you think of a community and giving an identity, I suppose, is the way. Then if you can bring an identity back to Ton, like it always has been, I think, you go back to the links to the mines, and every family had a member of their family that would have worked in Coedili Pit or whatever. I think, you're not going to get that identity back, but, something of an understanding where it becomes close-knit, and there's a lot of feelings of mutual understanding of how and what you can do together. I'd love to see, like, the old, the folk clubs, carnivals and that kind of stuff, because I think that's missed from society. And I know health and safety and cost is a big part of that, but surely where there's a will, there's a way. You can do something. But, some of the things that were done before in the past worked, and they've just kind of fallen by the wayside, and it'd be great if we could try and invigorate them back. When I'm out, I don't do it for me, but I just can't sit still. I can't sit in the house. I got to be active. I got to be doing stuff, and that's just whatever I see. I just think, I can help there, and I will do my damnedest, and that's how it is.
A big thank you to Martin Barron and the Tonrefail Chamber of Trade and arwr Benabid for speaking with us about all of the incredible work that they do. Tidy People is produced by Trefalis Housing Association on behalf of the communities it serves. If If you'd like to feature in one of our episodes, please get in touch at comms@trevallis.co.uk. That's comms, COMMS, @trevallis.co.uk.